because we're acquaintances, I've kept everything below the mask. But now, you're gonna confess to being the widow.
Yo, man, what the hell are you doing? Get off of him.
What are you talking about? He's this close to cracking.
He can't be the widow. He's not even from this franchise.
Anybody could be bought. He could have easily switched IPs.
Listen, man, I think this weekly release schedule is scrambling your brain. Why don't you go take a couple of plays off and I'll take charge until you recover.
Yo, what?
Get out of here. Go to the penalty box.
Young whippersnapper wants my job.
Welcome back to Horrible, the show whose hosts need a little R&R. Episode 4 just galloped into town, and so let's get to reviewing this bad boy before it bucks us off. Oh snap, I've always wanted to do this part. Okay, I think this bit has gone on long enough. Get out of my seat. Let's break it down! Alright, we dig into episode 4 with a meeting of the minds and eating of the pies. Despite a minor contribution that will end up aging poorly,
We have laws in this land.
the Cashman's focus is elsewhere.
Tastiest damn pies I've ever eaten.
The bottom line is pie.
Until he finds an ingredient that he's not so fond of.
It's a human fucking tooth!
Once everybody else realizes what, or rather, who they're eating, appetites are lost very quickly. I don't see the big deal. I mean, just pick the teeth out and those pies are definitely still edible. Yes. They angrily question Basil's cook Gladys.
Gladys!
And then she confesses to a sin worse than being the widow.
I'm sorry, sir. I told you that they're my secret recipe, but I've been lying.
Tell me about Mac's famous mac and cheese.
Okay, I can explain.
This leads Rikers and Cash Money Records to go talk to this George Kittle looking ass butcher.
What are you doing in my abattoir?
Loved getting to see the severed spine of Edward, and Yorgie's accent and delivery were just delightful.
They're not yet strong enough to lift leg of lamb. That Eddie? Eddie would I know?
Fun scene. We see what George is up to, and it's doing some weird incantation in regards to Regina.
Adi Dewey Dembella.
Simcoe.
Speaking of Regina, we get to invade her sexy time dream. Which sounds exciting, except for Alistair's performance, it isn't super good.
It's in. Oh my god, it's in.
More like negative 50 Shades of Grey. You've gotta be kidding me! She awakens to George's arrival and actually apologizes to him.
I was hot-tempered the other day. Still deeply mourning.
To aid in her grief, he offers her a tonic.
Made from the herbs and essences of the Peruvian witch doctors.
From a glacier in Alaska. It was blessed by an Eskimo medicine man.
But right when she's about to drink it, Rikers burst in to stop her and then arrest the magic man.
No. This is outrageous. Let me go.
It's breakfast time at the Portocelli's, where Verde is awakened to a full spread.
You've got your breakfast ready. Everything you require.
She's pleasantly surprised and understandably hesitant.
This is lovely.
But it's a special occasion.
We're getting our portraits done.
Now fuck my mother and the demon cock she rode in on!
I don't have a joke for that or anything, I just really wanted to put it in here. Rikers bringing George in sends the Cashman into a coke-fueled frenzy. We learn that George has an alibi he won't reveal out of respect.
You'll just have to take the word of a gentleman.
But more importantly, what the deal was with the second widow outfit.
We're working the widow into our act.
Shouts out to Charlie Tolley for that correct prediction.
You did it!
The Cashman is unconvinced.
It's time to tell the whole city. We have got our man.
Wait a second, how the hell did the Echo Tribune publish that issue so quickly? They don't even have an editor! After a quick interrogation, Basil is upset that the Cashman is bankrupt of actual evidence against George.
This? George fits into this?
Flashback 12 years ago to a party and the whole gang is here, including Margaret, who George has hypnotized into thinking she's a chicken. Margaret, by the way, is played by Genevieve DeGraves, also known as Cassidy from season 3.
Do you have a loyalty card?
And her physical acting here is a perfect mix of comedic and sympathetic. But the Cashman had seen enough.
Enough of this cruelty, I say.
and he puts an end to everybody's entertainment.
You should all be ashamed of yourselves.
We mainly just sit here in the booth and crack jokes, but you're kind of a buzzkill.
I've quite a mastery of the humorous yarn.
Fuck my mother and the demon cock she rode in on!
Rikers interrupts Shanika's pre-show prep to inform her about George's arrest and also to arrest her.
You think I could do something that horrible?
They noticed me! Maybe throw a little background role my way next season. I've got experience. I once played a zombie extra in an independent movie. Anyways, Shanika reluctantly agrees to reveal George's alibi.
George is gonna kill me.
The photographer for the Botticelli's portraits is actually just...
Salome has more customers.
Oh, that's how you say it. Sorry if you had money on salami. After a lovely group photo, Birdie's up first for a selfie sesh. She's not feeling the risque nature of the shoot, but is reassured by Salome that they'll only be seen by her future husband.
A special secret gift.
The Cashman just snaps and tries to coerce a confession by going all hostile on George.
I always wanted to be a surgeon.
It's a very intense, well-done scene, and the toenail pull was enough to even make me shudder. Luckily for George, Riker shows up to end the torturous tactics. Terrence is also with him and ends up being George's alibi.
I sleep with men.
But you slept with all
Men and women.
Rikers then relieves the Cashman of his duties until he can get his head straight.
Look at me, sure. I'm the captain now.
George is surprisingly a good sport about the whole thing.
I'll have to come up with a magnificent tale.
And then Rikers asks him about the knots he used on Eddie.
Tricks of the trade. Easily untied if you know the puzzle.
I think she's Captain Tying Knots. When everyone needs some knots tied, they go to him. Bullshit.
Unsurprisingly, everything was not what it seems with the photo shoot.
Aren't you going to take your portraits now? No.
No. As it turns out, Salome and the Botticellis plan to slide those photos into many a DM. We see the Cashman lose his last penny of sanity when he starts hallucinating seeing Margaret. Finishing up an earlier flashback, he proposes a solution to save her.
I can take you away from this by making you my wife.
And she just bodies the poor guy.
I get to live out the rest of my days in your one-bedroom tenement.
But it's hard to feel sorry for him given the quickly followed heel turn he pulls.
You're here to save me.
I'm just here to watch.
I love how instantly Margaret flips that switch from helpless to ruthless. And I think it sets up even more intrigue into her backstory. So yeah, it's obviously the widow in the carriage. And the episode ends with the end of the Cashman, courtesy of a horse-powered pavement slip and slide. I gotta be honest, the widow really didn't do anything here, so I'm crediting this kill to the horse.
Well, he won't have to chase mice in his old age.
And that was episode 4. Definitely a quality mid-season ride. We get a good amount of great gore and a solid combo of interesting plot lines, both past and present. Alright, let's go ahead and update the suspects list, and spoiler, it's not really much of an update this week. George was definitely cleared, but if you watch the channel, we already went and did that last week. There is a popular theory that there is 2 killers, and if so, I feel like there's a good chance that Shanika could actually be one of them, but until we get any concrete evidence clearing either of them, Venetia and or Verdi are still my betting favorites. There is a wild card that a few of you have mentioned.
Wild card, bitches!
Which is that the widow is actually Regina, but possessed by the spirit of Margaret, which if done right could make for an absolutely fantastic reveal. I love seeing all the cool shit everybody comes up with, and getting to talk about it with you all is really the best part about doing these videos. So let me know if your list changed at all, and keep them theories coming. And if you'd be so kind, go ahead and, do the rest of the YouTube stuff. But hey, I'm a nice guy, so if not, it's totally fine. I won't, pick at you about it or anything. And let's hope episode 5 is totally epic. If not, that would be.
No such thing as easy money.